Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liz Loves Books. Let's get into my December TBR. So for December, I am trying to go into this just to be like chill and calm and just have a good reading month to end off the year. I do have like one or two books that I'm hoping to get onto this TBR because they are Christmas reads and one required read for my in-person book club at the indie bookstore that I work at. So before we get to the random generator picking my prompts, let's talk about my book club read for December for my indie bookstore book club is My Friends by Frederick Bachman. It says most people don't even notice them, three tiny figures sitting at the end of a long pier in the corner of one of the most famous paintings in the world. Most people think it's just a depiction of a wide expanse of sea. But Louisa, soon to be 18 years old and an aspiring artist herself, knows otherwise. She's determined to find out the story behind these three enigmatic figures. More than 2 decades before, in a distant seaside town, a group of teenagers find refuge from their bruising home lives by spending long summer days on an abandoned pier, telling silly jokes, sharing secrets, and committing small acts of rebellion. These lost souls find in each other a reason to get up every morning, a reason to dream, a reason to love. Out of that summer emerges a transcendent work of art, a painting that, after a chance encounter in an alleyway, will unexpectedly be placed into Louisa's care. There's a little more description, but I'm going to stop there. So obviously, Frederick Bachman, his books are very hard-hitting, very emotional, but I feel like this will be really interesting because I had no idea this was about like a painting, and I wonder if it's supposed to be inspired by the three friends that they're described. So I'm going to read this and we'll see how it goes. Well, let's go through the first prompt and hopefully we'll be able to get my 2 Christmas reads I'm interested in and see what else I've got from my TBR cart. Okay, it says, read a book with a protagonist who is different from you. Examples are in gender, ethnicity, sexuality, ability, which is great. I can throw one of my Christmas reads on here, and that is Season of Love by Helena Greer. I read a previous book by her that I didn't realize was the second book in a series, an interconnected romance series. And this is the first book, and obviously Season of Love, it's a holiday book. It's not Christmas-centric. Our main characters are actually Jewish and then lesbians, so that'll fit for the prompt. But on the cover, it's cute. It says, it's time to make the Yuletide gay. And it's blurred by Ashley Herring Blake. It says, a warm, cozy holiday romance, best read under the glow of rainbow twinkle lights with a cup of cocoa. And I really loved both these characters in the second book that I read. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their little story involves. It says, thanks to her thriving art career, Miriam Blum finally has her decoupage glitter ducks in a row, until devastating news forces her to a very unwanted family reunion. Her beloved great Aunt Cass has passed and left Miriam part owner of Kerrigan's, her ironically Jewish-run Christmas tree farm. But Miriam's plans to sit Shiva, avoid her parents, then put Kerrigan's in her rearview mirror are spoiled when she learns the business is at risk of going under. To have any chance at turning things around, she'll need to work with the farm's grumpy manager, as long as the attraction sparking between them doesn't set all their trees on fire first. Noelle Northwood wants Miriam Blum gone, even if her ingenious ideas and sensitive soul keep showing Noelle there's more to Cass's niece than meets the eye. But saving Kerrigan's requires trust, love, and risking it all for the chance to make their wildest dreams come true. So I feel like this is a really underrated queer romance author, Helena Greer. I just picked up her second book that I found earlier this year, randomly read it, and really, really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for more queer sapphic romance, she's a really good author to read. So I'm glad I was able to add this onto the TBR. Read a nonfiction book. Okay, I have a lot of nonfiction. I don't know if I'm in the mood for it, but I think currently on my TBR cart, the only one I have is The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. We're going to put that back, and I think I know of 1 or 2 other ones that I'm going to grab. So, one sec. All right, when in doubt, read a Taylor Swift nonfiction. This is Taylor Swift Style by Sarah Chappelle, and it's like her fashion throughout the years. And it's got fun little gold sprayed edges, and it basically just discusses her image and everything in different parts So like the first one says part 1, it's a sweet start for country sweetheart. Part 2, the contained chaos of country to pop. And it talks about her styles through her eras. This one only goes through Midnights, so it's not as up to date. But she just keeps going so quickly that there's no way that these authors can keep up. But it talks about a lot of like her iconic looks, her Bleachella era, 1989, Reputation, just so many of her beautiful outfits. So that'll be a fun one, just kind of read throughout December. Alrighty, our third prompt. A book written for young adults. Perfect. I am going to put on the other book that I really wanted to read for Christmas, and that is Holly by Adeline Grace. This is a YA series. This is a novella in the Belladonna series, basically a big Christmas special. I don't know if I'd call this a novella, but whatever. It's basically taking place with our characters from the previous books and them experiencing Christmas together. And along with Adeline's other 3 previous books in the series, there is a mystery involved, so they're all trying to figure out this little mystery during this book. And that's all I'll say, just because it could be spoilery for the other books in the series, but I loved all 3 of those, and so I'm glad to be able to have another Christmas read on my December TBR. Yes, we're on to our 4th prompt, but we have 4 books already. Okay. Read a book featuring something you would like to do. Okay. This one's so like open. I want it to be more specific because I don't know what else I want to read. A lot of these are fantasy, and I don't want to be doing no sword fighting or magic or any of that. I want to read atmosphere, but I don't want to go to space. Oh. I want to reread Immortal Dark, but I don't want to be a vampire. Oh gosh, I don't like this prompt. This one's not very fun. Maybe some like Christmas novellas? Because I mean, who doesn't want to be in a cute little romance Christmas novella? Ooh, okay, I think I finally found one. On Kindle Unlimited, there's Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. I've been hearing amazing things about this book the last like 2 years. So let me bring it up and just see what it's about. Molly and Andrew are just trying to get home to Ireland for the holidays when a freak snowstorm grounds their flight. Nothing romantic has ever happened between them. They're friends, and that's all. But once a year for the last 10 years, Molly has spent 7 hours and 15 minutes sitting next to Andrew on the last flight before Christmas from Chicago to Dublin, drinking terrible airplane wine and catching up on each other's lives. In spite of all the ways the two friends are different, it's the holiday tradition neither of them has ever wanted to give up. Molly isn't that bothered by Christmas, but in yet another way, they're total opposites. Andrew is a full-on fanatic for the festive season, and she knows how much getting back to Ireland means to him. So instead of doing the same thing and just celebrating the holidays together in America, she does the stupid thing. The irrational thing. She vows to get him home, and in time for his mam's famous Christmas dinner. The clock is ticking, but Molly always has a plan, and as long as the highly specific combination of taxis, planes, boats, and trains all run on time, it can't possibly go wrong. Okay, this is gonna be so fun. This is basically like the book version, but with romance of the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, which was made in like the 80s, and I just watched that a few days ago for the first time, and has John Candy and Steve Martin in it, and they're basically just trying to get home for the holidays, and they have to take planes, trains, different cars to try to get home. So okay, we are definitely going to be reading Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. How exciting! I love when it's a random book that I'm not thinking about reading, and then it still fits, the vibes of the season. Alrighty, let's pick our 5th prompt. Read a book written by a female author. Again, that's so open-ended. I literally think every book on this TBR cart, minus like a few, are written by women. Okay, We're gonna go with The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. Everyone's been talking about this book. I waited a bit and then I finally came to and bought it. And this is kind of a fantasy, nightcore, yearning. I've heard a lot of this book. And yep, it's a female author on the back, so we're good there. And it says, love, loyalty, sacrifice. Gray Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage, Cure. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Cure's to wield. They are bound together by blood and magic, but there's one truth Gray dare not reveal, not even to Cure. When a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom pulls them into a dangerous mission, Gray will need to decide what she's willing to sacrifice to protect her secret. For Gray is no ordinary magical well, and if she dies, all magic dies with her. And a little blurb on the back by Hannah Witten says, the perfect pairing of romance, pining, and sprawling epic fantasy. I've heard so many people give this 5 stars, so many people loving this book, and I feel like having some yearning and pining for a romance will be good. Read a book with an ugly cover. Okay, let's see what's ugly. Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Now, I don't think this cover is ugly. I just think compared to the other covers that I have on this TBR cart, that it's a little bit more boring than the rest. So maybe I can throw this one on. And it is also on KU if I wanted to read it on my Kindle. But also the flap. And I have been meaning to read this one, and it'd be good to finish off like this first duology in her series, because I read Binding 13 this year. In the voice of Tommen. So I guess we'll put Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh on. Okay, we're going to pick one more prompt because then that will make everything up to 8 books. So last prompt. Reread a book. Oh, that is perfect. I can reread. Immortal Dark by Tigges Skirma. I read this book last year when it came out. I gave it 5 stars. I actually listened to it on audio, so it'll be interesting to reread the book. And I'm hoping I give it 5 stars this time around because I have the second book in the series on my shelves, and I just bought that in November because it just came out. So we're gonna reread this. I mean, is it Christmassy? No. Is it light? No. But that's fine. And it says, a lost heiress, a soulless vampire, a secret drenched in blood. It began long before my time, but something has always hunted our family. So our FMC, her name is Kidan Adane, and she is an orphaned heiress of this really big family within this society of humans and vampires. And these human bloodlines, they gain power from the vampire's blood. So a lot of these really rich, wealthy families had like a vampire that was part of their family that they would drink blood from and do everything like that and have like that companionship. And so Kadan's sister June disappears, and she's going to try to find her, and she ends up at Uxley University. And she has to survive living with MMC, whose name is Susinios, and he is the vampire, big bad vampire in this book. You know, evil vampire. And she's convinced that he has kidnapped her sister, so she wants to obviously kill him off. But they're the main characters, so you kind of know what's gonna happen. Oh, I'm so excited to reread this. Thank you, the TBR Machine, for giving me this final prompt. Alright, so just a final little wrap up of the books we've picked. We got Season of Love by Helena Greer, The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino, Holly by Adeline Grace, Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh, My Friends by Frederick Bachman, Immortal Dark by Tigges Skirma, Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh, Taylor Swift Style, Fashion Through the Eras. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for joining me for my final TBR of 2025. I'm really excited to get into 2026 and try to maybe like revamp and come up with new ideas for this channel. I've been so happy to be able to finally be brave enough to start this channel, and yes, it is very slow growing. I have been greatly enjoying just doing these videos and editing and creating thumbnails and learning how to do all of these things just on my own in my little office. And I am very excited. Oh my gosh, these are heavy. To try to get to all these books. Probably won't, but that's okay. I am excited for all these options toward the end of December. And I hope to see you guys in another video soon. Bye guys.